There are places in this world, forgotten by time and hidden deep within the folds of nature, where reality begins to blur, and the silence tells stories louder than words ever could. These aren't places marked on tourist maps or celebrated in history books. No, these are the in-between places, where the boundary between the living and the dead becomes paper-thin, and time seems to move differently, as if it remembers more than we do. Tucked away in the dense heart of Illinois, inside the seemingly ordinary Rubio Woods Forest Preserve, lies a place that defies logic and explanation. It's not grand in size or appearance, but the energy here is unlike anywhere else. This is Bachelor'sGrove Cemetery, a name whispered with unease and awe by those who have dared to enter. Here, death isn't the end. It's a beginning of something unexplainable. The shadows don't behave as they should. The air carries a weight you can feel in your chest, and the trees seem to stand guard like silent sentinels, witnessing things no one dares to speak of. In this forgotten pocket of the world, memories echo, grief lingers, and spirits wander, not ready or perhaps not willing to cross over. Welcome to a place where the past never let go. Back in the early 1830s, before highways and city lights carved up the land, Illinois was a canvas of thick forest and untamed wilderness. In the midst of this landscape, settlers carved out a quiet corner to honor their dead, a small, humble cemetery known as Bachelor'sGrove. There are stories that the name came from a group of unmarried men who lived nearby, men who found companionship in solitude and built their lives among the stillness of nature. They weren't famous, but they mattered to someone. Enough that when they passed, this patch of land was chosen as their final resting place. And for a time, it was exactly what it was meant to be: peaceful, sacred, untouched. Families mourned their loved ones under the shade of tall oaks, and the cemetery remained a solemn witness to life, death, and remembrance. But time, as it always does, began to wear down even the strongest stones. The people moved on, and the forest began to take back what had once been cleared. And with that slow encroachment of nature came something else: an energy, an unease, a sense that this place didn't want to be forgotten. And it refused to be. By the time the 1960s rolled around, Bachelor'sGrove had fallen into silence, and then into chaos. The graveyard, once a place of dignity and mourning, became a target for destruction. Vandals descended upon it like scavengers, breaking headstones, defiling graves, and even, unbelievably, digging up remains. Trees grew wild around shattered monuments, and moss-covered names that had once been lovingly etched into stone. But it wasn't just the damage to the land that left a scar. It was the shift in the energy, like something had been disturbed too deeply. Visitors who dared to enter began to report strange sensations: chills with no breeze, the feeling of being watched even when alone, the weight of invisible eyes tracking every step. Some left running, breathless and shaken, unable to explain why their hearts raced or why their dreams were different after walking those grounds. The more forgotten the cemetery became, the louder its ghosts seemed to cry out, refusing to fade quietly into the soil. Bachelor'sGrove is not merely haunted in the traditional sense. It is a spiritual anomaly, a charged space where the rules of our world seem to bend. And among all the tales that surround this place, none is more haunting than the spirit known as the White Lady. Often seen gliding silently through the cemetery in a flowing gown, she holds an infant tightly to her chest, her figure glowing faintly in the dim light like the memory of a dream. Witnesses don't just see her, they feel her, a wave of sorrow so intense it's as if the earth itself is mourning. Some say she lost her child and searches still, eternally bound to the place that swallowed her past. She appears without warning and disappears just as quickly, leaving behind a trail of cold air and heavy hearts. But she's not the only one. The grove is alive with whispers of shadowy figures standing among trees, lights that flicker in the distance only to vanish, and disembodied voices that speak in a language of pure emotion. This place isn't empty. It's occupied by echoes. But spirits aren't the only thing that wander these woods. There's a tale told among those who have explored Bachelor's Grove. A tale that feels more like a hallucination than a haunting. They call it the Phantom Farmhouse. Multiple visitors at different times have claimed to see a house, a full structure, appear where there should be none. Descriptions match eerily well. A modest farmhouse with an old lantern swaying gently from the porch as if moved by a hand unseen. It appears suddenly, out of nowhere, and just as mysteriously it vanishes the moment you look away or try to get close. Some say it's a memory leaking into our world, a ghost of a home long destroyed. Others claim it's something darker, a mirage meant to lure the living into the unknown. Whatever the case, this house, whether real, imagined, or summoned from another time, has become a chilling symbol of the mystery that drips from every leaf and stone in Bachelor's Grove. And if that wasn't disturbing enough, the darker chapters of history have left their stains here as well. During the violent years of Prohibition, when Chicago's gangsters ruled the underworld with blood and bullets, Bachelor's Grove became something more than just a cemetery. It became a dumping ground. The nearby pond was rumored to be the final resting place for those who crossed the wrong man, their bodies bound and sunk beneath the still water. Whispers say that some were buried beneath unmarked earth, their names forgotten but their souls left behind, restless and angry. And then came something even darker. Occult symbols carved into gravestones, bones of animals found in ritualistic circles, candles burned low in the shadows of night. Was it the mob tapping into something sinister, or were others drawn to this place's power? Either way, the spiritual fabric of Bachelor's Grove became soaked not only in grief, but in fear. Something was awakened, something that didn't sleep quietly. Today, Bachelor's Grove isn't just a relic of the past. It's a magnet for the brave and the curious. Paranormal investigators, spiritualists, thrill seekers, they come from all across the country, drawn by the legends and the energy that clings to the place like a second skin. They bring gadgets and gear, EMF readers, spirit boxes, thermal cameras, but what they find is not always measurable. Equipment dies without explanation. Batteries drain in minutes. Cameras malfunction at the most crucial moments. Some capture voices, clear as whispers in your ear, while others report being touched, pulled, or followed. It's as if the cemetery itself chooses what it will reveal, and to whom. Some leave with evidence, others leave with nightmares, but none leave unchanged. Bachelor's Grove doesn't give away its secrets easily, and for those who dare to listen, the silence is louder than any scream. Why is this place so haunted? What makes it different from other forgotten graveyards scattered across the country? Some believe that Bachelor's Grove sits atop a spiritual vortex, a natural phenomenon where the boundaries between dimensions are weakest. Others blame the repeated desecration of the graves, the violence, the rituals, the disrespect, as the fuel that's kept the spirits restless and present. But whatever the reason, one thing is certain. Those who walk its paths often carry something back with them. Not a ghost, necessarily, but a feeling, a heaviness, a shadow in the corner of their eye, dreams filled with voices calling from beyond. Some even report strange occurrences days or weeks after their visit, as if the spirits follow them, unwilling to be left behind. Bachelor's Grove is not just a place you visit, it's a place that visits you. In the end, Bachelor's Grove isn't just a cemetery. It's a mirror of our deepest questions about death, memory, loss, and what lingers after the end. It's a place where the forgotten whisper through the leaves and where the past bleeds into the present like ink in water. The graves may be cracked and moss-covered, but the souls buried here are anything but silent. They call to those who will listen. So the next time you find yourself walking through a quiet forest and a chill runs up your spine for no reason at all, pause. Listen, you might just hear them. The spirits of Bachelor's Grove are still speaking, and they're waiting for you to hear them. They call to those who will listen. So the next time you find yourself walking through a quiet forest and a chill runs up your spine for no reason at all, pause. Listen, you might just hear them. The spirits of Bachelor's Grove are still speaking, and they're waiting for you to hear them.